Okay, I'm gonna poke around some surface caves here and just see. Man, there's creepers everywhere.
Ah!
Ooh. Up.
Okay, climbing the hill.
Ow. I'm alright. It's okay. It's okay.
Remember, no dying allowed.
Okay, that will be a first for me. Go poke my head down here real quick just to see what we go. Oh my god, that's dark as hell.
Oh, I hear a spider, so I just... Oh, he's not a happy spider. Climbing the hill.
A little bit of iron down here. That's nice. I'm just gonna light it up real quick. And this goes a hell of a lot deeper than I thought, so I'm turning around. Okay, here we go. So,
This your spider jockey? Oh, there are bones up here. I think the skeletons burn separately from the spiders they're riding?
they do. I mean, hell, I've seen spider jockeys where the spider kills the skeleton by crushing it against like a tree or something.
Okay.
They were an interestingly designed mob.
Yeah, I think I always got the impression they were just kind of an Easter egg.
Yeah.
An actual part of the game. But of course, then we got spiders being ridden by skeletons, being ridden by silverfish.
Inside minecarts.
But I probably shouldn't rant about stuff like that. It's a happy day.
Happy days. So, I used to play EVE Online. I don't know if you've ever played.
I think only a trial kind of thing.
But when I played EVE,
If I remember my experience right, I played it for a bit and I quit right after I flew through a plant.
I can understand that. But when I played EVE, I played as a pirate. So, I mean, obviously, I understand that the greatest currency in the universe is people's tears.
Right.
But
of course.
outside of our tears, what do you think's like the most rewarding thing about all the changes you've made? Like, what's some moments for you that was like, yeah, that was worth it? I've been curious about that.
What makes it all worthwhile? It's interesting for me because it's like I've kind of reached a point in my life where I realized that making games is just kind of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm very unhappy when I don't do it. Now I could probably get into all kinds of psychological reasons for why that is the case for me, but yeah, it may also be part going back to what we said earlier about why I've been able to keep going so long and working on Better Than Wolves when so many other modders have kind of left the scene and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Because I have very strong reasons for doing this myself. Like I primarily do it for myself because I know it makes me happy to make games, right?
Right.
And without that, I'm unhappy, ergo, I make games. But some of the most rewarding moments, I think some of the, and this is probably going to sound really odd coming from me, especially given what a hard ass I am at times, but
right.
I think some of the most rewarding moments for me are when like people pop onto the forums and like particularly young aspiring designers and say things along the lines of, like, I don't even play your mod anymore. I follow these forums because I love hearing you talk about game design and I feel like I'm learning so much and that kind of stuff. Like, that is really gratifying for me, to know that not only have I kind of provided an enjoyable gameplay experience to people, but where kind of, like, because I'm getting older, like I, constantly go on about what an old fart I am. And to kind of know that I have, provided some kind of value to the next generation of game designers, and given them new ways to think about things, and yeah, I find that aspect really gratifying. And obviously too, just like there are kind of these long periods on the forums where I don't hear much, or I'm just listening to people bitch over on MCF, and like we were discussing earlier, like, that always, one bitch equals 10 positive posts,
Yeah.
and I kind of get into these periods of silence where, I know I enjoy the mod, but I don't really always know if other people are really digging stuff, and occasionally people, I think, like Ribkey, I don't think I've ever pronounced that name before.
Yeah.
Ribkey
Welcome to my world of failing to pronounce anything.
yeah, posted one of these a little while ago where, every once in a while somebody will just like pop onto the forums and write up a long post kind of discussing the sum total of the changes that I've made and the positive impact it's had on their gameplay experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to find those very rewarding as well. Like I think a lot of times people's reactions tend to be instantaneous and kind of reflexive, and those I don't pay much attention to, whether they be good or bad.
Right.
It's like I release a new feature, and that night somebody says, oh, it's wonderful, or oh, it sucks, and I'm like, oh, whatever.
With the exception of the clicking chickens, because that was an immediate amazing change.
Yeah, and that's like super simple, right? But if you're talking about like gameplay changes, like the kind of stuff we've been discussing, like hardcore stratification or hardcore info
really
or hardcore betting
changes.
Yeah, that's it. Until like a lot of times with these features, I don't think people realize it, but a lot of times with these features, by the time I've actually implement them, I've been thinking about them for weeks or months.
Right.
And just mulling them over and trying to think through the gameplay ramifications and all that kind of stuff. And like, the abandoned village thing is a good example, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because like when I released that, I had thought it through to the extent that I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to promote Nether exploration and give the fast travel aspect of the Nether an actual in-game purpose instead of just being kind of a froofy little thing, right?
Right.
Because fast travel in the Nether, okay, it's nice, but it relies on the player's own motivation to go out and build bases far away in the world and have a reason to want to travel to them, right? But there's no actual gameplay reason, right? Like, you could play Minecraft for years staying within like a 100-block radius of your original spawning location.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with the exception of hardcore spawn, mind you.
Right. I can play for about 15 minutes before that.
Right. So in terms of gameplay, there's no reason to go beyond that radius. So there's no practical reason for Nether fast travel as a result.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if you hear a phone ringing in the background.
Not a problem.
Fucking telemarketers, man. They're the bane of my existence. And I can never think clearly with that going.
I understand completely. That's why I just straight up unplug my phone. Like, nope, throw it across the room. People can get a hold of me later.
Yeah, exactly. I still have like an old mechanical answering machine that I used to screen my calls.
Nice.
For a high-tech guy, I'm actually very low-tech in a lot of ways. If it works, I don't try to fix it.
Exactly.
So, sorry, where was I?
We were on Nether fast travel, lack of
motivation.
motivation.
Yeah, Nether fast travel, thanks. So yeah, no real gameplay incentive to actually use it. So one of the things I was trying to do with the whole abandoned villager thing was make it a practical part of the game, right? And I think people initially took it because I didn't release much details. Like, as with a lot of my big gameplay changes, I tend to list them very minimally in the changelog.
Right.
Because I enjoy discovering new stuff in games, and I don't want to deprive other people of that either.
I agree completely. I love that about your changelogs.
Yeah, and I've even said it to you before, where it's like, I feel sad a lot of times that I can't experience my own changes that way. It's like because I inherently always know what they involve and what the ramifications are, and the best I could do is just try to keep my mouth shut so I don't spoil it for other people. So yeah, so at the start, and I had a hard time keeping my mouth shut about this one. Like, people were, because the spawn radius is pretty freaking huge. Like, you gotta travel for a long time to find a populated village. And I thought it would be fairly obvious, because I had planned it that way, that people would realize, okay, well, I should wait until I go to the Nether and then use that to travel a long way.
Right.
but it really wasn't obvious to people.
Hell, I was guilty
and-
of just going all kinds of
Oh, it's
wandery.
getting dark, dude.
Yep, heading back.
Wait, I see something in the distance that looks artificial. Ah, chunk error. Don't you hate those moments where
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
you think you see something that looks man-made in the world, and it's like, oh my god, something new in Minecraft. Like, I've never seen this before, you know? And then it's, chunk error.
Yo.
Creating weird symmetrical geometry, you know? Boom again. How was your day, honey?
It was fantastic. I got 3 iron. You? Nuggets, not ingots.
You got... Oh, I haven't even gone underground yet. I was just
I've been
killing
poking
some
around in a
animals,
couple
mulling
little
about.
surface caves. Grab some more food.
I built a monument atop our...
I saw that.
Yeah, it's not even phallic, though. I'll have to fix that later.
I was very surprised, honestly. Like
I don't really have the resources right now for a decent cock and balls. And
right. So I mean, if it's not,
if I'm
going
gonna
to
do something, I want to do it right.
I understand completely. We'll cock and
Like-
balls it up later.
From what I remember of this hill that we're in, with my mind's eye, I could see like the entire hill becoming one gigantic phallus.
It
at some point.
definitely has phallic potential.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you completely there.
Whoa, we got food.
Oh yeah, I've
We
been
got
collecting
leather.
a bit of food, a little bit of leather. Oh, there we
So
go.
we should probably.
We almost have enough wool to make booties.
I got. Well, no, we can't make booties. Despite, you know what's particularly funny about all this, and I guess I'm going to spoil some of it, but people keep seeming to falling. Words no work. They seem to keep falling for this gag, no matter how many times it's spoiled for them. So I guess I
Right.
can spoil it as much as I want now. The funny. In retrospect, this was pure genius on my part, but entirely accidental. Like, I did not intend it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened was when I implemented the wool armor, okay, just like every other piece of armor in Minecraft, I created boots for it.
Right.
Okay, just by default, it's like, okay, well, there are 4 different pieces of armor. Here's the wool one, and then the code, right? And then once I got it in game, and was testing it out, I'm like, okay, these wool boots are fucking ridiculous because they'd be socks and you'd wear through them in like 2 seconds, right? And then I went on this whole, as I always do, like you guys don't see it, but I went on this whole mental tangent about like, you know, footwear and, you know, wearing down based on terrain type, and I could factor this into hardcore movement, and like gravel will wear through socks faster, and like, and then eventually I came to my senses and said, well, no, fuck that, I'm removing the socks because they're just silly. Now what's funny is that there's no like item ID limit in Minecraft. There's like 65,000 potential items or whatever. So like an extra item in the game doesn't mean shit, right?
Right.
Like there's no way I'm ever going to use 65,000 items. So I just left them in there without a recipe or anything like that. So what was funny about this whole booty fiasco, and I hadn't even thought about it, is that some people found those socks in creative
Right.
mode, assumed they were actually the booties, and this perpetuated the myth that the booties actually existed, right? And that you could somehow get them on the wolves. So man, was I laughing.
That's
It
yeah,
just
because
came together
I'd
so
seen the
perfect.
socks in creative because I set up the release videos in creative, and I had
Right,
seen
right,
the
right.
socks in it. Like when you first released the wool armor, when I was getting all set up, I'd accidentally put socks in there. I was like, what the hell? Get those out.
So yeah, that's awesome, and I think it's just like a brilliant piece of disinformation, and considering unintentional, mind you, I didn't plan all this, I planned any of this, but and considering how much I hate creative mode in general, like it's just I find it doubly ironic that, you know, people are getting misinformed through its use.
That's
you know?
fantastic. That is a nice little victory moment there, eh?
Yeah. Well, it's just, you know, the little moments that make me laugh and partially compensate for the one troll.
Fantastic. The wolf booties. So, how do you make
Yeah,
wolf
it was
booties?
Well, there were some people like you, like in IRC, that caught it right away. You know, like I started talking about booties, and I know a lot of people think I'm completely bonkers, and they may even be right, but I think a lot of you that really knew me like were right from the start like, this doesn't sound like something you'd put in the game. You know, there was immediate suspicion.
Yup.